All right, so welcome everybody. Before we start, those of you who don't know Janine, she's been my right-hand person for many, many years now. And as she said, if you're having any issues during the call, just type in a private message to the chat. I'd also like to welcome Yolinda Nurtman here today, who you're going to be hearing a little bit about her work with missing animals and the group that she works with to help missing animals be reunited with their humans. So that'll be a little bit later on. As per usual, I'd like to start with just an opening meditation where you can all go into your heart space. So you can, for those of you who are new to this kind of work, can actually just feel what it's like to be in your heart space as opposed to being in your head space, because this is where everything works from your heart. It's nothing to do with logic and sense. Okay, Madge, you're saying you can't hear me very well. My volume is right up, and you might need to turn your speaker volume up. I'll just check again, but I know my volume is...
No, your sound is fine. You might also need to change your where the speaker is coming out of, Madge. That's something Zoom will use an automatic speaker, but you might have other options that will make it louder. That's something to try.
Okay. Wonderful. Okay, so I'm going to start sharing my screen because I've got a bit of a presentation. Janine, will you just message me if there's any, or just actually message me on my phone if there's any problems with voice, because I can't see the
yes, of
Zoom
course.
screen.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. So if everyone's on mute, if you can put your videos off now, that'd be wonderful. Thank you, everyone. Okay, everyone. Once again, welcome. And I want you to just get very comfortable. So sit straight in your chair and put your feet firmly on the ground so you can feel the solid ground beneath you. This picture on the screen is my beautiful sunshine, who's now in spirit. Some of you know her from being a teacher on the introduction course. And she often assists me when I'm doing difficult work with animals. So very gently, you can close your eyes or even just rest your eyes gently on the screen, gazing into Sunshine's beautiful green eyes. And take a deep breath in and slowly breathe out. And as you breathe in, imagine a beautiful rose gold light, which is the energy of unconditional love, entering into your energy field, into your body. Breathe that light in. And fill your lungs completely. And as you exhale, release any anxieties, any stress, any worries that you are holding onto at this time. And take a few breaths like that until you're feeling a lot more centered and relaxed. On your next in-breath, take your focus down to your heart space, which is in the middle of your chest. And you can even hold your hand over your heart. Become familiar with your heartbeat. On your next in-breath, as you're breathing in that beautiful rose gold light, breathe it into your heart space and feel it filling up that space, clearing and dissolving any heaviness, any anxieties, any worries, any negativity that you are holding in that heart space. Feel it transforming that heaviness into rose gold light. Just stay in that heart space for a little while, feeling the unconditional love of Mother Nature. Feel it filling your heart. And then feel your own love that you have for all animals, for all of nature. Feel it coming up, and your heart is almost bursting with that feeling of love. And it's an unconditional love. It's a love without need, without expectation. It just is pure love. It's part of who you are. Now feel that love joining with and vibrating with the energy of Mother Nature's unconditional love. And feel it expanding. Your heart field now is expanding beyond just your heart, just that energy center. It is expanding, moving throughout your body, filling up every cell of your body, helping them to vibrate at this frequency of unconditional love. And now move it beyond your physical body into your energy field, your auric field. And you can visualize it as a sphere of rose gold light, a complete field that is warm and safe and protective, knowing that any heaviness or negativity or nastiness cannot enter that field. It is so strong. Your unconditional love, along with Mother Nature's unconditional love, creates a field of love that surrounds you, and then extend that field to all the beings in the room with you, be they human, animal, plant, insect. Extend it into the energy field around you. And there are no barriers, there are no constraints to the extent that this field can move. So see it, feel it moving beyond the walls of the room to the entire property that you're on. And then beyond the property, to the streets, to the towns, to the fields, the countryside, the mountains, the rivers, to the seas that surround the continents, and then to the other continents, to the entire planet. And as you feel that field of love moving across the planet, feel yourself connecting with every other being, and especially those beings that are vibrating on that same energy of unconditional love. Those are nature's beings. Those are the animals, the plants, the insects, the birds, the soil, the water. And some humans. You can move that energy field even further to the stars, deep into the earth's core, to the heavens, to the sun, and to the sun behind the sun, the entire galaxy. There are no boundaries. We are working with the universal energy of love, of unconditional love. And you are connected to all beings through that love. You are connected to the human beings, the animal beings, the plant beings, the water beings, all of nature's beings. There is no separation. You are one with all. Every thought, every feeling, every experience that you have is felt by all, whether consciously or unconsciously. Your being here at this time, at this place, has an effect on everything. And when we work with this heart energy, we can achieve miracles together with the universal energy of love, of life. Now, on your next in-breath, still being aware of that heart energy, slowly start becoming aware of your physical body in the physical room, the physical chair beneath you, the seat beneath you. Become very aware of your feet resting firmly on the ground, connecting you in a very grounded way to the earth so that you can work in safety and security with Mother Nature and the physical earth supporting you and helping you. Slowly start moving your toes and your fingers, and when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Okay, I hope that was very helpful, everyone. So just let me know. I see there was a few of you came in during the meditation. Apologies for that. But while I start the talk, please just just go into your heart space, feel calm and relaxed, and feel that unconditional love that you have for all beings. And then let's just start the talk. And at the end, there's going to be time for questions. But before the questions, I'm also going to lead you into a meditation where I'm going to guide you into how to work with your missing animal friends. And just as a group consciousness, we can start working with all those missing animals right now to help assist with shifting the energy to bring them home. All right, so I'm going to share my screen again because I have got some slides. Okay. Okay, sorry, it's just giving me a few problems here. There we go. I think because I hadn't gone out of it. Okay, so thank you to Dear Sunshine for holding that space. All right, so what is heart energy? So heart energy, I came up with this concept of heart energy achieving real transformation towards the end of 2019, when I was thinking how I wanted to start using the experience of communication and information that I'd received from the animals to make a real effect. I'd been working with visualization, positive visualization and prayer for many, many years, according to the animals' advice, and more specifically, the cats and the lions. And those of you who know me will know that I work very much with the white lions, the Global White Lion Protection Trust. And I wanted to bring this concept into the field of animal communication in order for people to actually make more of a difference, because we know we can make a difference by communicating directly with the animals. But many people don't realize that we can make a difference just by communicating with the energy and shifting the energy, transforming the energy, and that comes from this heart space. So what is it? It's working with your heart and not your head. So we know that connecting with our animal friends in order to communicate with them, in order to receive messages and send messages, we need to be in our heart space. There's no doubt about that. It's intuitive, but it comes from the heart, not from the third eye, not from the mental space. What we tend to do, though, is when we get information, especially when we're relaying it to people who are asking us for help with their animals, and very specifically with missing animals, they start going into their head and saying, what does this mean? And what does this communication mean? Does it mean that he's alive? Does it mean that he's far away? And they start panicking. So with working with the heart energy, we can actually shift the energy around the entire situation. And I'm going to talk about how that works. Unconditional love is the key to all of this. Unconditional love, which means a love without expectations, without judgment, without need. And that can be very difficult for humans to tap into, because many of us humans have not experienced the unconditional love unless it's from animals. And we've been taught that we need to be deserving of love in the human way, and that is not so. We are born from love to be loved. That is our whole purpose on this planet, and that is what I believe. And that is what I've been shown from the animals and from nature. So it's working with that unconditional love, visualizing a positive outcome to the situation. And with that energy of love, it helps you achieve that. It helps the universe and the energy of the universe to shift into a formation that is more positive than when it's working from the place of the head with worry and confusion and chaos, because that is what most humans are living with so much. So many people don't know how to center themselves, don't know how to go into the heart space and be calm. When there's a difficult situation, we've been conditioned to panic. And it's, in a way, it's natural, because it's a message saying, yes, there's something to worry about, but that ongoing panic and worry and anxiety and fear is what blocks the shift, what blocks the communication, what blocks the calm. So the opposite to unconditional love is fear. And just remember that in any work with animals, in any situation, fear is the opposite of love, and it blocks any communication and any shifts that might be wanting to occur but needs our help, the co-creative energy force that we have the ability to use. Letting go, that's a very important part of this work, is actually doing the work and then letting it go, letting the need go for this positive outcome. You can come back to it every now and again and reaffirm that positive outcome. So just keep holding that vision, but letting go the need for that vision, that solution, the positive solution to come out. And also the most important after the unconditional love energy is trust. So trust that your message has gone out to the universe, trust that the animals have heard you, trust that there will be a positive outcome. And what is difficult, I think, is sometimes we know, or we think we know what the best outcome would be for the animal concerned, or the humans concerned, or the complete issue. We visualize something, and we often put our own needs onto that visualization, which is normal as well. But we also need to trust in the process that perhaps it won't work out exactly the way we thought it would or wanted to, but trust that it'll work out for the highest good of everyone concerned. So that is when we do verbally say a prayer or work with this energy, we ask for the highest good of all. So that, because we don't know everything, we can get an idea when we are connecting and communicating with the animals, but we don't know absolutely everything. So this photograph on the screen is a photograph of my mother and Fat Cat, who we used to call him Frankie, one of the cats that I grew up with. And I just love this photo because you can just see their communication and you can see their heart-to-heart energy working there. And my mum was, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be doing this work, because she, although she wasn't trained as an animal communicator, her intuition and her love for animals was astounding. And that's what grounded me in being able to do this work. And she is also in spirit, as is Frankie for many, many years. Okay, so I'm going to just talk about this sort of a step-by-step process of how we start transforming the reality, the current reality, that how we perceive it. Because remember, we all see and perceive things in a different way. So the current reality of what you perceive may be different to what the animal that you're working with perceives, or what someone else next to you who's also working with the same issue may perceive. So we want to get into a very centered, positive heart space in order to change the reality of our perceptions. And that moves into changing the physical reality of what's actually happening. So the first thing we do is move into your heart space, which is what we did at the beginning of the call. And then feel that unconditional love. It's important, those of you who have studied with me and have worked, have listened to my past webinars on animal communication, it's important to have a clean heart. So what I mean by a clean heart is that clear of any anxieties, worry, and panic, which is difficult to do, especially if your animal has suddenly gone missing. But try it. Try that breathing Mother Nature's unconditional love into your heart space and see it being transformed. And you'll be amazed that immediately you'll start getting into a space of calm and centeredness. When you're in that space of calm and centeredness, send that love that you have for the issue or the individual animals. So the animal that has gone missing that you're so worried about, just send that love. You can hold a vision, an image of him or her in your mind's eye. As you close your eyes, see his beautiful or her beautiful face. And become aware of the first feeling, image, sensation that comes to you when you see the face. It will probably be an overwhelming feeling of love. And if it's your own animal who's missing, you might not get anything else. But if you are working with other people's animals, you might get a feeling. When I work with missing animals, I can immediately sense if they are nearby or if they are angry and they've left for a reason. There's always a reason, I'll come to that. But the very first fleeting, and it's so quick, a fleeting feeling, and trust that. You can even have a notebook and write it down, the very first thing, without thinking about it too much. And then let go of everything, but visualize the positive outcome from a place of understanding and non-judgment. And that's if you're working with your own animal friend or with someone else's. So what is the positive outcome? With missing animals, it is that they would be reunited in a beautiful way with their human who is missing them and loves them so much. And that the reasons why they left will be harmonized, will be sorted out, will be changed and transformed into a space where they don't need to go missing anymore. So the chaos, if there's any chaos in the home, that'll be settled. So hold that vision in your mind's eye. Visualize the animal coming home as they would normally, jumping through the window with a cat flap. If that's impossible, if they don't know where home is, visualize them finding someone who will do the right thing, finding someone who cares. Visualize a good outcome on every level. It's also sometimes helpful to give a time frame. So especially if people are going away on holiday and their animal's just gone missing, tell them when you're coming back. Tell them where to go, how to get there, who to trust. These are things that you can all work out by sensing into what is needed for the situation. And for experienced animal communicators, it'll be easier. But even people who haven't had experience in animal communication, you can do this. You can visualize a good outcome. And that good outcome is often just having that animal in your arms and feeling that sense of relief and safety. And in some ways, that's all you need to feel, that sense of safety, warmth, relief, and love for you and your animal friend. And then let go and trust, as I spoke about earlier. So then we come to my experience with Biggles going missing at Cape Town International Airport. Now I'm going to tell you what happened. If some of you may have read my book, I wrote a book about this in order to help people whose animals go missing. And there's many other stories in that book of other people's experience of using communication to help bring animals back. So always with traveling with my animals, my cats mainly, my greatest fear was that they would get out of the box on the runway. That was my greatest fear when I moved to England with my 4 cats and when I brought them back as well. And what I've learned, what I tell my students and what I've learned, especially since this happened in 2005, so 15 years ago, is that if you do not address your greatest fear, if you do not deal with it, you have to face it in the physical realms. And this is what happened with Biggles. He got out of his box in Cape Town on the runway, and he was missing for 6 weeks. Now, it was my worst fear because he had come from London. He had never been in the energy of South Africa, such a vibrant energy compared to England, where it's all gentle rolling hills. And then at the airport, and can you just imagine what he was feeling? The noise, the chaos. On an emotional level, what was happening with me is I had decided to move back to South Africa because I was so terribly homesick. But in that move, I had to leave a relationship of 10 years. And it, it obviously wasn't a long-lasting relationship. It lasted very long. But anyone who's had a long-term relationship will know how difficult it is to actually make that complete break. And so there was chaos and indecision around, I was very sure that I needed to be back in South Africa, where my home was, where my heart was. But Biggles had been adopted by my partner. So he was more connected to my partner than to me. But at the time, my partner couldn't keep him because he was going to be moving about and traveling with work. So the decision was made that Biggles would come back to Cape Town with me and the 4 other cats. And he didn't want this. I mean, he would, he showed every way possible that he didn't want to do this. But then we did a really pure communication with him, and then he seemed to accept it. And he came back. The travel people had to come back twice. So the second time, after a real communication, he came back and agreed to the travel. And I communicated to him that he would, the whole trip, so that he'd be in a box for a good sort of 14, 15 hours, maybe even longer, but he'll be safe. He'll be in a dark space. It'll be noisy, but that I would be there to meet him on the other side. So what happened then is the plans changed. There was an outbreak of bird flu and during the flight, they changed the rules of any animal coming into South Africa had to go into quarantine for 5 days, I think, or a week. And so I wasn't able to be there to meet him. And gosh, you can just imagine how I felt and how he felt. So he made a break. He was given the opportunity to get out because someone, I think what happened is one of the staff members or handlers actually opened his box to check on him, and he just made a break. So it was a grueling 6 weeks of physically searching for him around the airport and energetically searching for him, trying to track him with my communication skills and with the communication skills of my community, my people, my group who were qualified animal communicators. But I had to, what shifted to get him back to me was I had to let go of my need. The only time the shift happened was when I let go of the desperation. I was exhausted. It was 6 weeks of going to the airport twice, 2, sometimes 3 times a day. I'd be called at 2 o'clock in the morning because someone had sighted him on the runway. And then I'd get there and then he'd have gone by the time I got there. So I was desperate. And when I suddenly let go of that need and I said, I cannot do this anymore, I made a decision. I said, Biggs, I love you. I want you to be with me and the other cats, but there will be no, my partner, it's going to change. It's just going to be me and the cats. And if you are willing to be with us, I said, my words out loud, I said, find someone who will do the right thing. And that was a very clear, direct communication to him. And then I just had to let go and release and just say, so be it. I handed it over to him and to the universe. The next day, I got the call from animal welfare that he had gone into someone's garden near the airport, and she had, for a very poverty-stricken area, she had phoned animal welfare and said, please come and fetch this cat. He's lost and bedraggled, and I can't ignore him. And they did, and they are the only animal welfare society, well, at that stage, I'm not sure if others do it now, who will actually go out and fetch an animal in need. The SPCA, the Animal Rescue League, all of them, you have to bring the animal to them. And this woman had no transport. So it was just amazing. She did the right thing. And there was a great reunion. And he settled in beautifully. And yeah, but it was the letting go and making a decision and trust that shifted that energy so that we could be together again. So what worked here? The communication, that did work. I knew the communication from, the information received from me and from the others. I mean, I'd get information that there were cut flowers, and I'd find the room where all the cut flowers that go to the airport with his paw prints in, but I could not find him. It was like I had to do the work with myself before I could get him back. So the communication worked, but that was not enough. And that's what I discovered. Trust. Trust was the big thing. I knew he was alive. I knew he was out there, and I just had to trust. I had to let go. And that is what caused the shift in the energy. I hope this is all making sense to everyone. Now I come to the tricky question that all animal communicators work with. What about tracking? So when we track a missing animal, and tracking them means actually almost going into their bodies, seeing what they are seeing. And we can do that. And some people can do it very, very accurately. So you can actually see and you can get clues of where they are. So I can hear children's, like a school with lots of children playing, a playground. I can hear church bells. I can smell roast chicken. I can feel hot tar and busy roads and traffic. And those are the clues that we can get to find out where the animal is. But it can get very confusing, especially when missing animals are free and on the move, because as a tracker, as an animal communication tracker, you can be a step behind them all the time. So you will see where they are at that moment, but by the time the person's got there, they'll have moved on. So if you read my book, you'll see I've done negotiations with animals to be at a certain place at a certain time, and that has worked amazingly. But also, what I find with the desperation when people call an animal communicator to work with missing animals, and they often call different animal communicators. And because of the way this work is, and the information resonates with our own energy, our own individual signature frequency, the information is often different. So the person with the missing animal will be getting different information from different people. So it actually isn't helpful to use more than one animal communicator to actually direct that aren't working together. That's one of the things that I should stipulate. Animal communicators that work on the same sort of wavelength and understand and trust each other, so a group, is quite effective, but different individuals from different places and different methods can often be very confusing for people. The reason why I don't track animals anymore is exactly because of this. And also, I know I had a couple of questions from people once my Zoom email was sent out. And one person asked about telling the difference between an animal that had passed or an animal that was still alive. And sometimes what is so difficult is the animals don't want to come back at that time. And they are in absolute joy about being free, and there's a lightness of being. And unless you're very, very skilled and understand the difference between the energy of spirit and the energy of spirit in physical form, it can be confusing. So I was starting to get confused between animals in spirit and animals in physical form, because also I believe the veils between the worlds are so thin. And especially cats, when they are sleeping, they can enter that world of spirit. If they're injured, they can go in and out of their bodies, and it might feel like they are in spirit already, although their physical form is still breathing on this earth. So that can be very difficult. So that is why with missing animals, I started working with the heart work, with visualization and energy, rather than trying to track where they are. I want to tell you another story about another cat called Biggles. And this is his name, full name was Jeremiah Biggles, but I want to share it. This happened in 2015. It was after I'd published my book, so this story isn't in my book. But this was the most remarkable thing. So Jeremiah Biggles is the photograph in the front, the cat, the big cat in the front, and his sister Moo is at the end of the bench there. Now, what happened with Jeremiah's family is there was a death. His owner's future daughter-in-law was killed in a car accident very unexpectedly. And obviously that caused immense grief and just chaos in the family, because of the plans of the wedding was looming. Everything was just in chaos and grief, absolute grief. And then because of this event, their human had to move. So and she was moving about and she couldn't take the cats with her. So what she did is she took them to her sister, where they'd been plenty times before. They'd visited and they were quite safe and comfortable there. And of course, they disappeared after about a few days. They disappeared because all they felt was this chaos, this move, this grief, and they didn't know where safe was, where home was. They were worried about their person. They were just worried about everything. So the human contacted me, and this is actually, the sister lived near where I live in Cape Town. And I saw a post on Facebook actually, and I recommended that my book. And so she contacted me, and they actually found Moo not far away, about 3 days after the person, Carol, the owner, had read my book. And she said what a beautiful help it was. But Jeremiah remained missing and nobody could find him. And I was doing the heart work in the background. They were doing the communication. There were plenty of calls to Carol to say they'd spotted him. But again, she'd get there and he'd be gone, or it wouldn't be her cat, it'd be someone else. And then one day, I used to go to a dream group in the evenings, and it was held on sort of a small holding, a permaculture farm, vegetable farm, not far from where I live and not far from where Biggles disappeared from. And it was towards the end of the meeting and it was pitch dark and we were leaving, and suddenly I heard this meowing. And there was this cat sitting on the fence. And I said to Elle, my friend who was hosting the meeting, I said, whose cat is that? I didn't know you had another cat. And she said, no, he's been here for months, but this is the first time that he's actually come. I've been leaving food out for him, but he refuses to come near me. This is the first time. And I went up to him and he let me stroke him. He let me pick him up. And I said, I know this cat. He went missing 6 months ago. I know him. And of course I didn't. So I went back. I knew he was safe there. I went back. I found the emails and the Facebook post from 6 months before. And I contacted her. And this time was about 11 o'clock at night. And she was like, oh, yeah, it probably isn't him. And I said, no, I'm 99% sure it is. I just had this knowing. And she said, okay, well, she'll go in the morning. But then, of course, I put the phone down and she couldn't sleep, thinking that she had to go and find him. So she drove and she went there at midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning, and it was him. Of course, it was him. So why did that happen? Why was he not found when he was safe and he was not far away? And so many people had seen him and alerted him. But when I spoke to her, I said, what's been happening, And she said, only the week before she had found a permanent home. She had brought Moo, her other cat, back with her. And the grieving, of course, it takes much longer than 6 months to grieve, but things had settled. Family had settled. Her son had found a brilliant job that meant he could be near her. And everything was settled and everything was safe and peaceful. So that was the right time. That was the right energy for him to be found and to come back. And that is the key, it seems. And what did he do? He found me. I mean, he went to a place that I was going to once a month, and he found me. And he knew that I would do the right thing and recognize him. So there's a big, big lesson in that story as well. So what or who are we working with? So obviously we're working with the animals themselves. We're connecting with them to help them feel safe, to explain the communications, and so that they know what's going on, why there was a change, why there's a move, why there's grief in the family. And then we're also working with the higher beings, where be it angels, be it your higher self, be it God, whoever you feel sort of holds that higher space in the universe. And of course, we're working with the universal energy, and that energy is love, unconditional love. So this is a slide that I've used in a number of my webinars, and just a reminder of general awareness around your home and your animals. Remember that every thought, feeling, experience is given off as an energy, and that energy is picked up on by your animal friends, even if you don't realize it, even if you think, well, there's been a change, but it hasn't affected, my cat or my dog or my parrot, but they're picking up on the energy all the time. If you can see the illustration, that is how I believe, or how I've been shown, that the heart energy works. So I used to think that a heart-to-heart connection would have been a straight line from your heart to the heart of the animal, or to the essence of the being that you're communicating with. But actually, I've discovered and felt that it's a curve. You are connecting with you're connecting heart to heart, but you're connecting with everything else in the universe as well. It's like you're connecting to the heavens and to the core of the earth, everything, all energy. So if we want happy animals that aren't tempted to leave, always be aware of your own feelings and your stress levels. Take note of what is happening in your own immediate environment. And this is when you're considering behavior changes, injuries, anything that is happening to feel stressful with your animals. We need to consider everything on a physical, emotional, and energetic level. Body, mind, spirit of ourselves and the animals. And remember that love connects and fear disconnects. In my experience, there's always a reason why animals leave their home, even if they've just got a big fright, and it's nothing to do with the change, but they might have got a fright and just left, and then too nervous to come back. Think about any changes in your life. Explain the reasons for the changes. So when we are sending message to the animals, we're going into the heart space, feeling that unconditional love, and then you can even just talk in words, because words tie in with the images in our minds, and always positive. So why are we moving? You know, why are we moving? We're moving because it is a safer space for us, or because circumstances aren't allowing us to stay here, but I love you, we're all going to be together. Or if we can't all be together, you are going to be safe in a cattery or at my friend's house or with my family. Always explain the reasons for the change. And then if there's something that has changed in the home, assist in making that home feel safe again, because it's that feeling of safety and reassurance that the animals need in order to come back. Okay, and it's that safety in you as well. It's not just in the physical home, but actually in you as well. I remember a friend of mine calling me in panic because her sister's cat had got away from the cattery, and it was miles away from their home. And how do you work with that? So what I did, I told this cat to go back to the cattery where he would be safe. And I visualized that. I saw that. I sent him the feeling of being safe there. I told him exactly when his person would be back. And we made an arrangement that he wouldn't have to be at the cattery. Once he was back there, he would go back home, and there would be a house sitter there to look after him. And those arrangements were made, and that happened. He came back, and we kept the promise, and he was taken back home, and he was very happy just with the house sitters staying at the home until his human came back. So the most common reasons: a house move, a new family member, human or animal, a separation. Unneutered males, specifically with cats, will always wander, I would say. So really make sure, no matter what your belief systems, it is really, you know, it's a difficult thing to do on some levels, because if you relate to a cat being whole and needing his masculinity, but they are much safer if they don't have those hormonal stresses of trying to find a spayed female, and of course spay the females as well. We'll get into that on another on another call, whether it's good or not. Chaotic energy in the home, any kind of stress. Sometimes it just means they want a deeper connection with you. So many people who have contacted me when their animal friend has gone missing, and they've started realizing how much of a connection that they have, and they manage to get a deeper connection. And once they start doing the heart work, then their animals return to them. Okay. Sure. So that's really all I wanted to say, but I just want to talk about group work and some resources. So the group work, I work often with Yolanda Noortman, who I introduced at the beginning of the I'm going to stop this share. Yolanda, if you can, or Janine, if you can unmute Yolanda and put her on camera, then she can be on. There we go.
Hi there.
Hi, Yolanda. So Yolanda has a group of people who do prayer and visualization work and meditation work to help missing animals be reunited. Yolanda, can you explain a little bit about the group, what you actually do and how you do it?
Sure thing. Thanks, Wynter. I think your meditation today really underpins the whole concept of our little group, in the sense that each one of us holds the potential of the whole consciousness in us, and that we're connected. So this ability of all of us, each one of us, to affect the whole, and that a small act can actually multiply and strengthen the whole is what underlies the work that we do. It started off with my frustration of not being able to help missing animals, and feeling that there should be more. And one morning, on an intuitive flash, I woke up from a dream, and the dream said there was a little dog that was missing repeatedly on Facebook. It was about 6-7 years ago. And it said, get 12 people together, do a guided visualization and support those guys that are searching. And we did that. And after 7 months of trying in that, the doggy was actually walked into the trap crate. And suddenly there was this moment of, there's something here. So we expanded the group. We now 30 people, just over 30 people. Some people know nothing about energy work. They're just absolute animal lovers. But as it grew and with my interaction with you guys, I also have some of your colleagues and some of my fellow students that have now joined that understand this sort of on a different level. I've utilized the WhatsApp group. And on this WhatsApp group, we don't advertise. We don't charge any money for this. Animals just sort of come to us from the strangest of places, from deep in war-torn Lebanon, right to, locally in my little town where I live in South Africa. And I would then connect with the animal that comes in to me. And during that connection, I ask the animal to help me record a guided visualization. This is not edited. It's not in any way structured or pre-prepared. It's just what the animal gives me. I record as I hear it, and sometimes I don't even remember afterwards what it was. I then post it on the group, and we have definitely found that if we manage to get the core group together to do this guided visualization at the same time, then we have what we believe greater success. So what we would then do is I would warn the group and say, right, tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, this time we will all get together, and I post it on the WhatsApp group, and everybody then participates and does their thing. We don't track, we don't give feedback, we don't send images to the owners. We just work with positive intent. And that is, it's interesting in the recording the visualization. What would often happen is the animal would guide and say, look, I need help to stay safe, or I need help to visualize my home and get back home, or something is not right at home, I need the right thing to happen for me. And that would sort of determine the intention that we then set for the group, sort of reiterating a lot about what you said. So that is how we've harnessed this ability and connectedness to serve the purpose of our missing animals. It's growing. If anybody was interested in joining, we ask for those people just to have the commitment to, when we call and say we need you all, in 6 hours time to be part of this meditation, to say, I'll be there. And then of course, just sometimes it's not possible to do that intense visualization. So then also the animal just goes onto the group, and I ask each person to individually, when they have time during their day, every loo break you have, quickly do a visualization for this animal or that animal with a positive intention. And that is how we work. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you, Linda. Would it be okay to share your email address in the chat, so that if people either need help for animals, or if they would like to join the group and help if they've had some experience with energy work?
Pleasure.
Okay.
Pleasure. Wynter, could you share my WhatsApp number?
Okay.
It's just easier than, if you need to make people join, etc. That would be great.
Janine, could you do that for me, please? Thank you.
Janine.
Janine will.
Yes, of course.
Right. Thank you. So Janine will write it into the chat. And then if you've missed it for any chance, just you can email Janine at animaltalkafrica.co.za. Okay. And I know already there's people that want to be part of it, students and people that I know. Thank you, Monique, as well. And thanks so much, Yolanda. I know I've worked with Yolanda when I haven't had time to actually do much with missing animals, and I pass him on, and it's just fantastic. But sometimes we must remember that it's also there's free will, and there's also sometimes there's a bigger picture out there. Sometimes the animals won't return, and we also have to accept that, more often than not. So with this heart work and this visualization is we are assisting the process for the best and highest outcome. If the animal has had an accident and is in spirit, then what I normally do is visualize the human getting closure. And you can also ask for them to bring messages in your dreams. And often that is enough, and people start once you start working with this energy yourself, you'll start letting go of the need and actually finding closure if your animal friend doesn't come back. So it's tough, and there's always that hope. You don't give up hope, but there is always some kind of resolution. Okay, I'm just going to share my screen once more, because there's a few more resources that I wanted to speak about. If you are interested in the sort of science behind this work, from very early on in my teachings, I've always recommended The Field by Lynn McTaggart. And she's subsequently done 2 more books, The Intention Experiment and The Power of 8. So have a look at that. It just talks about how this intention and energy field actually works. And then someone who I've discovered very recently is Peter Merry, and he's from Ubiquity University. And he's written a book called Leading from the Field. And what I love about him is he talks about the heart energy. And he's got the 12 steps, and he's very articulate in how he explains all this. So I'd recommend that book. But if you can't get that book, because I think it's only out, it's not on digital format yet, it's out on Amazon. But he has got a YouTube video explaining the whole process. So I'd recommend that. Janine's going to put the links in the chat. And then, of course, there's Where is Biggles, which I would recommend that you all read. I have been threatening to republish because I don't have any more paperbacks copies. I've only got a very few left. But it is available on Amazon Kindle, and you can read it on any device if you download the Kindle app. So yeah, it has really helped many people reunited or get closure with their animal friends.
Wynter?
Yes.
Just a comment or maybe a question to the group. It's such a nice big group. One of the things, just from the academic sort of side, what would be really nice in time to do, if there's some budding scientists amongst us, is to get some research done in terms of what a normal return of a successful return of animals would be. So that one can start measuring, our work that we all do. I mean, in the early stuff that we did on the group, I know that you've read it. We've had a certain percentage of animals where we were involved that got returned, but we've got no, group to measure that again. So if anybody's aware of any such research that has been done, or sitting on a whole lot of money they don't know what to do with to fund such research, or wanting to do such research, that is really an area that I think that would be greatly beneficial to the work that we all do.
Well, I know, thanks, Ellen. I know Vanessa Van Garten is here, I can see. And she is, she's a researcher. She's been doing research on animal communication, so she might have some ideas about that. We can chat at another time. Okay, so what I'd like to do now, Yolanda, I'm just going to switch your camera off and as well, just to, there we go. I'm going to do a meditation where Oh, hang on. So going back. There we go. I want to do a visualization with all of you to work with any animal that you know that has been missing or is still missing and you'd like to help. So whether it's your own animal friend or whether it's someone that you know of. So I'll guide you into this visualization and let's see if we can shift that energy together. Okay. Just before we start, is everyone happy with that? Okay. And we've got 48 people in the group here, so it could be quite quite effective. Monique, you're saying you don't know of any missing animals. Don't worry. What I'm going to do is I'll say I'll work on the collective. So any animals that are missing out there. And if you know of a missing animal, then you focus on that particular one. If you don't, you're just sending that energy to all those missing animals who are trying to get home. Or to all the people that are wanting the animals to come home. So we're working on the whole. Okay. Nishan, yes, I'm glad you made it. I got your email. So we'll be working with your Sky, I think her name is. Okay. Great. So a lot of you, I think, will know of missing animals. So without further ado, I'm going to hold that picture of the light, but you can close your eyes as well. Okay. All right. So once again, just make yourself very comfortable in the seat you're on. Feel your feet firmly on the ground. Close your eyes. And as you breathe in and sigh out, feel all the information that you've received just settle in to the cells of your body, the information that you've received on this call today. And everything that resonates, just keep within your heart. Take yourself back to that heart space. Sink down into your heart. And in that space, all you feel is unconditional love of Mother Nature for Mother Nature and for all your animal friends. Just feel that great, immense love that you have for them. And if you are concerned about a particular animal, hold the vision with your mind's eye of his or her beautiful face that you love so much. And send your absolute unconditional love directly to him or her. See them surrounded by a warm golden light, warmth and safety and protection. And if you don't know of any one particular individual, let's send that love out to all the animals that are missing from their home and that are trying to get back. All those animals that need a friend, a human friend to intervene for them to get back home safely. We're sending that love and warmth and protection out to all the humans that are desperately seeking their animal friends. Send them calm and love and light and centeredness. Send them a knowing that all is well. Now let's guide those animals home. See them moving back from wherever they are. If they're trapped, see them being released from the trap, the doors opening, someone finding them. See them safe. See them finding someone who will do the right thing. That if they are free and able to come home by themselves, visualize their path home. Visualize them jumping over the wall or moving through the garden, moving into the gate, jumping in the window, crying outside the gate or the front door, so that you are aware that they are there. See them holding you in their arms and them in your arms. See yourselves together again. If there's an urgency in time that you're not going to be there at your own home for a specific amount of time, let them know what time they need to be back as soon as possible, but also knowing that they have their own well and there is a divine timing in all things. So you can put the intention out for them to be home at a specific time. But you also know that there is divine timing. Once again, feel the love that you have for that animal being or all those animals that are missing at this time. Send them a feeling of safety, of well-being. And know that if they can, they will be home when the time is right. Feel into your own heart as well. Make sure that you are settled and think about how you can, if it's your own animal friend, how you can make the home feel settled and welcoming once more. If there are other animals involved, like new members of the family, connect with them and send them so much love and ask for tolerance, ask for acceptance on all sides. See harmony returning with your missing animal friend. Harmony, acceptance, tolerance. And you can say to your animal friend that if they are unable to be home in their physical form because they are already in spirit, ask for some guidance there, for closure. Ask for a sign, whether it be in dreams or just a feeling. Trust your feelings. Trust the animals. Trust this energy of unconditional love. Trust the power of group visualizations and group love. And now go back into your heart space. Feel that trust in a positive outcome, no matter what form it takes. And then let go of that desperation and that need. let it go and trust. Know that your animal friend loves you with all their heart. Know that you love them with all your heart. And so it is. Take a deep breath in and sigh out. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. And come back to your physical body, the room you're in. Okay, everybody. Now, part of me wants to just leave you in that beautiful space of love so that you can perhaps go off into your own space and keep on working with that energy of love to help shift. But there is time for a few questions, about 10 minutes. If you do want to ask questions, if you want to leave and go into your own space to carry on that visualization, please feel free to do that. If you want to stay and ask a few questions, you're very welcome to. We've got about 10 minutes. So you can ask questions in the chat. Okay, thank you, Annie. While we're waiting for people, just a reminder that the replay will be sent. I know I saw some people coming in and out and maybe coming in a bit late. Just to remind you of other heart work that I do. If you go onto my website, you will see heart webinars and with the lions and elephants and primates. I will be continuing to do other heart work. Also, please remember that all this heart work is done for free. If there's a particular organization that I'm working with, that donations will go to them. But if you do feel like contributing to this work, you're very welcome to do so with my the PayPal link, which is in the emails that you were sent as well. And the virtual Starline Journeys, if you look at starlinejourneys.org, there's also more work there. And if also, again, there's so much information about communication and heart work on my website. So if you want to continue to explore this work more, please feel free to do that. Okay. Okay, I'm just looking at the messages. Okay. Gabba, thank you. Thanks, Gabba. I didn't realize your cat was missing. Thank you. Okay, Vanessa's saying that the book Leading from the Field is also available as an ebook now. Great. I didn't catch that yesterday when I was doing this. Monique worked with a scorpion and a cat and a dog specifically. Wonderful. Whoever comes, that's brilliant. Guri, can one do golden cord meditation for pet parent if they are not able to do the meditation themselves? Absolutely, Guri. And I think, you know, sometimes the desperation and the need is just overwhelming, and it's very difficult for people to get into that centered space. So definitely you can hold that space for them. And that is what we are doing. That is what Yolanda's work and group is doing as well. Marjorie.
I can see a question there if you'd like me to read it out to you. Save you having to go through all the messages.
Okay.
Madra, she's asked, do you find that overall increase in anxieties or stress about COVID-19, stress in specific households, leading to an increase in missing pets?
Absolutely. And, you know, what's interesting over this last month, and Yolanda agreed with me, there have been so many missing animals. And perhaps it's with the second wave coming and people are even more stressed and anxiety. Absolutely. So, you know, even with all the stresses of COVID, if you can just try and maintain that centered calmness, most people who have a connection with animals. Actually, I'm maybe wrong in saying this, but I know many people that are doing this nature work have actually felt a sense of relief during the lockdowns because there isn't that activity and people are going within. So there's a definite beautiful message throughout the stresses. So focus on that, and then your animals will pick that up as well. Okay. Just looking if there's any other questions here. Okay, and see, the name of my book is Where is Biggles? And yeah, it's available on Amazon Kindle. If you type in Where is Biggles, then you'll find it.
I shared the links in a file because it didn't copy and paste. So I shared a file. I suppose that shows in the recording as well, which has all the links to all the books that you mentioned and the YouTube video.
Okay. Vanessa's asking about Chief Stephen Daughter. I spoke to him a couple of days ago, and he says, we're healthy as a horse, he said. So everybody's great. I think we're just waiting until I'm back in Cape Town and everything's a bit more settled, and then we can do the plant webinar with Chief Stephen as well. Thank you. Yeah, don't worry, Lishna. Maybe send a WhatsApp to Yolanda for help with Sky, and I'll also help doing that. I'll assist with the visualization as well for her. Thank you. Is it okay to do this for animals whose people who are not aware of this kind of communication? Often do this on my own on a neighborhood site where people post. Deborah, yes, absolutely. What is so interesting is a lot of the time this work is done behind the scenes and their owners don't even know. So you're not going to be acknowledged outwardly for this work unless you are working directly with the owner of the animal's human. Because, I mean, just an example of an animal that went missing in Noordhoek, where I live, about 10 days ago, and she did contact me, and she read my book, and they were going away on holiday, and the suitcases were being packed and new people were coming into the home. So it was quite an intense situation. He disappeared, and I know he was waiting until it was safe to come back. And I just was working quietly by myself, and yeah, he was found not too far away, quite far away for Cap. It's in the same area, and she didn't even let me know. I saw it on Facebook. So that's the kind, you know, without it's very much a private, you know, a quiet heart work, and we don't need acknowledgement. It's obviously it's nice to have. But yes, you can absolutely do it for animals that are not aware. But I do believe it's good to share, even if people think you're a bit mad, because if people don't understand this work, they can. But if you just do small hints and do the work by yourself, they will also start opening up to this kind of work. Okay. Okay, Nina, you've got a question about behavior. There is a webinar actually on my website about working with animal behavior. So I'd recommend that you watch that. Thanks. Gail, struggling with the trust part. That is the most difficult. Yeah, it is. It is difficult. So it's practice. And it's what I say to all my students. And if you really want to go deep, you know, think about doing the introduction to animal communication. It's online, and it's very easy to work with. You've got a huge group of community of students that are very supportive as well. So it's not just a lonely thing. Okay. Monique, you can hear the bird song. I wasn't sure if you could. Okay. Okay. Wonderful, everyone. I think we're just 1 minute over time. I'm going to have to go because I've got a meeting in a little while. Okay. Thank you, Lily, as well, for your messages here. I can read through these different messages as well, and if I've okay. Francesca, you're Charlie the famous cat. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much. I follow you also on Instagram. Wonderful. Thank you, everybody. It's been a great pleasure, and I hope you have really benefited from this. I feel like I have as well, and I always do when I do these meditations with everyone. It's a mutual beneficial experience. Okay. All right, so let us say goodbye. Thank you, Janine, for holding that space always, and thank you, Yolanda, for your beautiful work as well.
And thank you for a wonderful webinar. Always.
Wonderful. Okay, and enjoy your New Year celebrations if you are able to celebrate. We'll be celebrating in nature, I think, this year. So yes, and we will hopefully see more of you next year on more webinars and Zoom meetings. Great love to all of you and your animal friends. Thank you.